Welcome all. Today we will see simulation of 16 by 8 FIFO memory. FIFO is first in first out memory. As it is predefined sequence memory, we don't need address bus. That is why we need only data bus and some control signals. The control signals that we are using are clock and reset, then enable and W. Enable is used as a chip enable. Whenever enable is equal to 1, then and then only we can perform operations on the memory. W will decide which operation is to be carried out. If W is equal to 1, then we will perform the write operation. During write operation, data present on data in data bus will be written inside the memory. When W is equal to 0, we will perform read operation, and during read operation, data from the memory will be given to the output data bus. All these operations will be carried out at the positive edge of the clock. Now, there are two types of warnings that we can get while performing the operations, and that warnings are memory full or memory empty. That both the warnings are given with the help of read signal. So read will be the output signal. Detailed working of 16 by 8 FIFO memory is already given in the previous video. The link of that video is given in the description box. Today we will concentrate only on the simulation and working of the code. So let us quickly start with File, New Project, give name as Project FIFO2. Next, here we have decided the device properties: Spartan 3, XE3S400, package is PQ208, and language we are using is VHDL. Next, finish. You can see over here the same device that we have selected. Right click, new source, give entity name. So this file name is same as entity name, and we are giving the name as my FIFO 1. VHDL module. Next. So here you can see the entity name and the architecture name. Here we can give the port names. So let us give the name data in. Direction is input. It is bus. It is a vector. So it is 7 down to 0. Then we have clock, input, reset, again input. Then we have W, that is also input. Then we have read, which we will be using as a warning signal, that is out. And then we have data out. Which is output, and then it is also a bus 7 down to 0. Next, finish. Here you can see library section and then the entity section. So after entity section, in the architecture we can write the code that we want. So we will quickly type the code. And your code will look like this. So here we have started with process, but in the process we need a memory. So before we use the memory, we have to create a memory segment, and that segment we have to create inside the declaration part of the architecture. So before begin, the section of the architecture is called as declaration part. So there we will generate two pointers, one for the writing and one for the reading. So here we have generated two signal WPTR and RPTR. The size of that pointers is 4 because my memory locations are 16 and 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16. We need the pointer size as 4. So 4 means 3 down to 0. So both the pointer size is 4. Then we have to create a memory. Now memory is considered as 2D array, 2-dimension array. It has number of location as well as we are defining size of every location. So there we are creating one user defined type P4, which is array. The size of that array is total 16 bit, that is 15 down to 0. So it is total 16 locations of. So what is the width of this every location? It is a vector 7 down to 0, means the size of every location will be 8 bit. So with the help of this statement, we are trying to create a 2-dimension array which has total 16 location and every location is 8 bit wide. So after creating this type, we have created one signal of type P4 and the name of that signal is main. Then we have started with the coding part. So begin process. So as we are using sequential statement, we have to take the help of process statement. So sensitivity list of the process is clock and reset, and then the reset we have used is asynchronous reset. So when reset is equal to 1, that time both the pointers are initialized at its first location, that is 0, 0, 0. That is the 0th location of the memory. Again, warning is also become 0. Else if at the positive edge of the clock. So when clock tick event and clock is equal to 1 will detect the positive edge of the clock. We are checking whether chip is enabled or not. So if enable is equal to 1, then we are checking which operation we supposed to perform. So if W is equal to 1, then we will perform the write operation, else we will perform the read operation. So if W is equal to 1, before we start writing, we are checking one condition, that is WPTR is less than the last location of the memory. It is checking whether we have reached to the final location of the memory or not, because if it is final location, we can't perform the write operation. So if it is less than the final location, then WPTR we are converting into integer, and on that memory location we will write the data given by the data in. For example, if WPTR is equal to 1000, then that will be converted into integer, so that is 8. Then memory 8th location will be written with the data given by data in, and this is how we are performing the write operation. After performing the write operation, we will increment the pointer by 1, and if else, that is if WPTR is not less than 111, then we will give a warning, and that warning is memory full warning. Now this else is for this if. So if W is equal to 1, we will perform the write operation, and else we will perform the read operation. So before we start performing the read operation, we are checking whether read pointer is less than write pointer or not. If yes, then from the location pointed by read pointer, that memory location we will access, and data written on that we will be given to the data out. So suppose RPTR is 0001, then that we will convert into integer, so that will be 1. So memory location 1, from that location we will copy a data on an output data bus data out, and then we will increment the read pointer by 1. So this is how we have performed write as well as read operation. And here we are ending with a process, and then we are ending with a architecture. After this, the first step is Control S, and we will save the code. Then check syntax. There is no error, so we will go for the simulation. So simulation, check the entity, double click on simulate behavioral model. Now you can see all the signals, all the ports that we have declared for the entity are listed over here, and we can give different values to the input ports. So let us start with, as our all operations are depend upon enable signal, we have to enable this first. So right click, force constant, give value as 1. So chip is enabled, okay, and that time we will give reset as 1. Now we can go for the option run for the specified time. Now you can see over here, we will just adjust the window first, and then we will discuss the result. Now if you see, before we apply the reset signal, both the pointers were uninitialized. So to initialize that pointer, to initialize the operation of the chip, we will first apply the reset signal, so that after reset both the pointers are initialized at 0th location, and then we can perform the operation that we want. But before we perform, we have to remove the reset signal. So our next step will be right click on reset, force constant, give the value as 0, apply, OK. We will keep enable signal as it is. Now we will give the clock. Now force clock. Here we can give the value to the leading edge as 1, falling edge as 0, and period that we will give as apply. Okay. Now I'll just show you how the clock will look like. Here you can see the clock is equal to high and clock is equal to low, because it is one period of the clock signal. Now we have not initialized our W signal yet. W is yet uninitialized. So let us start with a writing operation. So we will initialize W, and that initialize W as 1. So we will perform the write operation. and when we know that we are performing the write operation, we have to give data on a data line. Post constant, and the first data that I will be giving is it is a 8-bit data. Run for the specific time. Now it is just a writing operation going on. So we will write some more locations. I have written just one location right now. Now I will write the second location. Run for the specific time. Again I will write one more location. So here we are writing total 3 locations with 3 different values. Any random value you can select, but here I am only performing the write operation. And how I know that I am performing the write operation? Here W you can see as 1. That is why on a output data bus you can't see this particular data. Now if you want to retrieve this data from the memory, you have to start with read operation. So let us start with read operation. So for that W is equal to 0. So make W is equal to 0. Your read operation will start. Apply. OK. And now run. Now when you run this, you can see at the output the first bit, the first byte that you have written on the first location is retrieved on the output bus. Why it is so? Because it is first in, first out. So whichever data was written first, the same data will come out first. Now run it one more time, because already we are in a read operation. It will continue reading the consecutive location, and consecutive location is the location 1. So here you can see the second byte which we have written is retrieved at the output. If we continue, then third byte will come outside. So here we can see we have observed first in, first out. Without using address bus, we have written the data, and then without using address bus, we have retrieved the data. Because it was predefined sequence, whichever byte I have written first, the same byte is retrieved at the output. So it is first in, first out memory. Thank you for watching.